Hey everyone, and welcome back. My name is Colton. I am a Maximo Technical Specialist here at IBM, and today I'm really excited to be able to walk you all through a use case within Maximo. We're going to be covering a Maximo Mobile demo of a use case around oil and gas. So we're going to take a use case of a gasgate valve that is having some operating issues, and I'm going to walk you through the process of how Maximo, using Maximo Mobile, would be used in order to resolve the operating issues that we're having with the valve. So for today's demonstration, we're really going to cover two personas. The first is Tom the technician, and the second is Sam the supervisor. So Tom the technician, starting all the way on the left, Tom the technician is typically responsible for delivering on the work of a project. Now, in the past, Tom really struggled with not having all the information at his fingertips that he needed to do his work quickly and efficiently. This including ensure that he had the right safety equipment, materials, tools in order to complete his work. And Tom also struggled in not understanding what work needed to be completed in which priority order, along with where's the work located. Oftentimes we would see that in the past, Tom had to do a lot of this work manually on pen and paper. And this, as you can imagine, took a lot of time and costs associated with him to complete his work for the day. The next persona that we have is Sam, the supervisor. Now, Sam's responsible for creating the overall work package for her teams. She wants to ensure that the project is on schedule and being completed within the allocated time frame with the right resources, such as materials, tools, labor, services required for the work package's completion. In the past, Sam was challenged in not having the level of visibility that she needed into the work that was being completed, if it was in the right time, the right resources. And Sam really needed a single pane of glass to track overdue work, progress of work orders, any type of failures, and address and assign any emergency work quickly and efficiently. So that's what we're really going to be focusing on in this demonstration in the perspective of an oil and gas company. So as we walk through the demo, we're going to see Tom the technician recognize that there was an issue operating one of their valves. He's going to create a service request for Sam, the supervisor, to then uh, review, approve, and then create the work necessary to address the issue. She's then going to assign it back to Tom, where he's going to open up his mobile device and complete the overall work package. And so that is the demo that we are going to see today. So starting with Tom, the technician, we're going to go ahead and walk you through what he would do after identifying that there was a valve operating issue. The first thing that Tom's going to do is open up his mobile device, whether it is an Android, Surface, Windows, iOS. He's going to go ahead and download the app from the App Store. He's going to open up his Maximo Mobile application, and automatically, Tom's going to be presented with much of the functionality he needs to do his day to day. He has a schedule, which lists all the work he needs to do for the day, materials and tools. So, all the materials he's going to need in order to complete the work, a map, which will show him exactly where the work is located and how to get there. In the case he needs to create a service request, which he does, he can use that functionality. Or if he needs to look at other assets and their information, he can do that as well. So for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to have Tom open up the service request tab, and Tom's going to enter information key to to the challenges that he is seeing. So here we're going to go ahead and create a new request. And Maximo automatically gives Tom a list of different types of requests that he can create, all of which may be configured for different purposes. But let's say that Tom doesn't find what he's looking for and he just wants to make a new service request. First thing that Tom's going to want to do is start entering information for the request. He's going to enter a description saying that operability issues with gas gate valve. And as a description, he's going to enter a short description. Once a summary and description is created, Tom's going to go ahead, click the top right-hand arrow to include other information. As the service request moves from status to status, such as new to in progress to complete, he's going to get notified via email. Tom can then choose a location in which he's currently at and where the asset's located. But typically with clients, what I typically see is they can just scan the QR code on the asset record or on the asset itself. And let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. So here, what I did here was I went ahead and clicked the scan button, and I'm going to go ahead and scan the asset code. And there you go. The asset record was pulled up on the mobile device for Tom to then include as part of the service request. We can save Tom's GPS location and include any attachments such as taking a photo. Now that we have all the information, it didn't look like it actually, oh, I didn't click an asset, that's why. So now if we go back, not only do we have the asset record, which we can then look at additional information on, but we also have it automatically pulled in its location so that Tom has all the information he needs to go ahead and approve the request. Now that the request has been created, a supervisor will be notified to either address and approve the request. And so that is how Tom the technician, when identifying an issue with the valve, would generate a request. Now we're going to move on to the second persona that we have is Sam the supervisor. She's going to address the issue and create a work package based off of it. So the first thing that she's going to do is she's going to open up Maximo on her desktop or tablet, whatever is preferable for her, and she's going to launch Maximo. The first thing that she's going to want to do in her day-to-day is to review her operational dashboard, which is going to include all her key performance metrics that she is measured against. This includes overdue emergency work, overdue preventive maintenance work, preventive maintenance performance, and health of her assets. Maximo allows Sam, the supervisor, to customize this however she wants. The first thing that Sam's going to want to do is look at any new service request that has come in for the day. So she's going to migrate to her, on her operational dashboard, click some of the quick links and get over to the service request. Here, Maximo lists all the service requests that have been created within the system. Sam is only interested in seeing her specific service request she is responsible for. And here she has a list of all the service requests that have been created as of recent. And down here, she can see the requests that just came in around operating issues with the gas valve. After clicking into it, this is going to have all the key information that Tom, the technician, created for Sam, the supervisor, including attachments. Now, if there was an image taken part of the service request, it would show up here. But notice how there's other documents. This is pulled from the asset record because we scanned its barcode. So this includes operating manuals, dimensional drawings, and other key information that Sam, the supervisor, may want to review before approving this request. As she scrolls down, having a gate valve stuck in an open position is a high priority for her. As we scroll down further, we can see the location of the asset, and which would populate where it is located on the map. So if we were to click our service request map, it would direct us to the location of where this was created. With Maximo, you can leverage Google Maps, Bing, Esri, and the map that you were showing was an ArcGIS map. So now that Sam Supervisor has reviewed the service request, we're going to want to investigate a little bit more into the asset record to really identify three key things. The first is, what type of failures have we recorded for this specific asset? The second is, what can its work order history tell us that could influence the job plan that we create for the asset. The last thing Sam may want to review is how, if this asset was to fail, what's the downstream effect that it would have on other systems associated with this particular piece of equipment. As we scroll down, we can see the asset specifications. We can see its priority to the overall Naperville pipeline system, its serial number. But what's really important for Sam is to go ahead and look at our failure tracking for this equipment. In the case, the way that we break this down in Maximo is by problem, cause, and remedy for this asset. In the case that there's a leak, the cause could potentially be worn out gasket, loose packaging, improper flange connection, and the remedy would be listed down below. From the service request, we know it's an operability issue. We also know that there was no corrosion detected just by Tom's notes in the service request. What we're going to want to do here is look at what are some of the remedies for misalignment. And there's two, either to replace the stem or realign. This is going to help influence my decision as a supervisor and what job plan to enforce as part of this work package. The next thing that I'm going to want to review as a supervisor is our work order history. And here we see not too long ago, there was a new installation of that valve. This could potentially be caused by an improper installation that happened, which could contribute to this valve having operability issues. So this is something worth noting by leveraging our work order history within Maximo. The last thing Sam's going to want to review is, okay, how does this affect other assets within the system? Maximo allows us to build these hierarchies, which allow us to review, and the hierarchy that I created here is based off of ISO standards, but drilling down from the site level, the locations level, and then the equipment level, which child assets, subassemblies, components of this overall asset could be affected by a failure. And here we can see that one of our subassemblies is a stem, and this could potentially be one of the factors causing the issues that we're seeing with our gate valve. If we look at spare parts, this is another visual where we'd be able to see some of those sub-assemblies. What's really important for Sam is to be understanding of what safety hazards and precautions should be included in our overall work package to ensure that our technicians are safe. Here are some of those hazards and precautions that we're going to want to include on the work order. It may be good information for Sam to also review meter readings. Operational data from sensors or through inspections can help influence and trigger work in Maximo. We can get a more intimate understanding of how this asset's performing based off of these metrics. And lastly, I want to highlight different classifications. So classifications influence what specifications these different asset types have. So here we can see, for example, the body and material, the stem design, what style this piece of equipment has. Now that we've reviewed additional information, Sam has a pretty good idea of what some of the challenges are that are associated with this request. So what she's going to go ahead and do is she's going to go ahead and approve the service request and create a work order. The easiest way to find that related record is to click the related record tab and migrate over to the work order. If other additional tickets are created or other additional work is applied against the request, it'll show up here. And this will notify Tom, the technician, of the progress that we're having on this work. Let's go ahead and move over to work order tracking. Now, this is the part where Sam's going to go ahead and create the overall work package. This is going to include all of the attachments that we looked at earlier, including OEM manuals. As we scroll down, as part of the work order, we're also going to want to include the problem code. The reason why this is important for a work order is Maximo can actually flag similar work orders that have the same problem code and notify us and say, hey, you might have a duplicate work order. Are you sure you want to proceed? And it'll allow supervisors like Sam to make sure that there isn't already work created for this problem. The next thing that we're going to want to do is begin to create the plans for the work to be completed. Let's say that this is a high priority work order. We have a job plan already in mind to use. It is the JP valve stem. And before Stan includes the job plans, let's go ahead and go over to the work plans and see what's already created with this work order. Right now, we don't have any tasks created for this work order, as well as labor, material, services, and tools. One way that Sam's life is Maximo makes her life a lot easier is through job plans. So what we can do is when we add a specific job plan and click the tab button, when we go back to the plans, you can see all of this information, including materials, labor, is automatically populated. This reduces the time it takes for Sam to put this work package together. As we scroll down, we can see other key information such as scheduling start, finish, who's the responsibility, who reported this, and here you can see we pulled this from the service request record. So the next thing that Sam's going to want to do is look at the tasks just to make sure that we have everything needed. We have the estimated duration based off of historical work. And this is a good way to keep track of time tracking for labor. And so what we're going to want to do is we see one of the tasks that we have to make the valve operatable again is to do an inspection. So one good thing, and I didn't show this when we pulled in that job plan, but Maximo can actually recommend, we can actually recommend specific inspection forms and job plans based off of the asset that we're working with. So here for a valve inspection, we're probably going to want to use this form. This is a form that Sam and her team created a while back. Down below, we can see what labor is needed, what quantities, what the overall effort hours are, and which we need to update to 6.5. What their rate is, and other key information. Next, we're also going to want to include, for example, what materials are going to be required. In the case that there needs to be a realignment or replacement stem, we have that material here. The next thing that we're going to want to highlight as part of this process is assigning labor. Now, we do have a scheduling application within Maximo. I cover that in a different demo within my YouTube channel. But here, we're just going to go ahead and assign a labor record, Tom the technician, to complete this level of work. In the case that this work requires a specific craft or skill level, Maximo flags that so that we ensure that only the work that's getting completed is done by a certain group. So if we were to, in this case, this work needs to be done by a mechanic. Once we've assigned the labor needed to work on this work package, we also want to review the safety plan and include any hazards and precautions like a fire that may be associated to operating a gas valve. Once we've finished putting together our work package, there's also additional information such as any communication that we may have or want to create with our technicians or our crews. Here, we will just go ahead and say hello, just for the purposes of showing you that communication. Now that the work package is created, we have been able to Stan has been able to not only look at her KPIs, but she's also been able to investigate into the problem a little bit further using failure reporting, work order history, and our asset hierarchy structure within Maximo. She's been able to generate a work order from the service request, including all attachments, problem codes, job plans, assignments, and inspections, including hazards and precautions that we need to have associated with the work in order for it to be approved. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and approve the work for Tom the technician to take action on the work. Now we're going to migrate over to the last part of this demonstration, which is Tom the technician actually completing the work. So here we'll go back to Tom the technician on the mobile device. The first thing that Tom is going to want to do in his day-to-day is open up his schedule. We can see that there's a couple overdue tasks that he needs to complete. He's going to refresh his task list just to make sure he has the most and up-to-date task or work order list. We can see it updated from 8 records to 9, including the work order that Sam, the supervisor, just created for Tom. What's important here is Tom's going to want to also understand where he needs to travel in order to complete the work. Maximo Mobile has the capability of directing and soon to be indoor mapping. That's going to be a demo at a later date that will help Tom get to the location that he needs. Let's scroll all the way down to see the work order that we've just generated, which is the operability issue with the gas gate valve. Here is where Tom, the technician, is going to begin his work. So Tom is going to travel to the location of the work order, and the first thing Maximo is going to have Tom do is review the safety plan. Tom will not be able to continue this work until this safety plan has been reviewed and he has the correct equipment, including gloves and eye protection. Now that Tom has reviewed the safety plan, he's ready to begin the work. Here, we can go ahead and click the timer and begin the work. There's several things that Tom is going to want to understand as part of this process. And the reason why the timer might have already started is because we're now in the vicinity of the work. And so here we can go ahead and look at the materials needed. This is something that Tom the technician can show his storeroom clerk in the central storeroom in order to get the additional stem needed, just in case there needs to be a replacement. Any type of communication between him and his supervisor is recorded in the work log. From a dispatching standpoint, Tom wants to update the dispatcher with his location and where his progress is in completing the work. Tom now has a list of tasks from the work package that he needs to complete in order for the work to be completed. And this includes isolating the valve, doing an inspection, doing a reassembly, testing, and doing a final inspection at the end. At the end, Tom is going to also include what was the cause, problem, cause, and remedy of this work order, include his labor time, materials used, as well as tools. For additional information on the asset record, including additional attachments, Tom has the ability to drill into that information as well. In the case he wants to review the safety plan again, he has the ability to do so. Any attachments to help him complete the work, or if he needs to create follow-up work orders, look at past service requests against this equipment, he can do so here. One thing that Tom is also going to want to do is ensure that the actual asset he's working on is the asset that he is responsible for. So let's say that he scans an asset, and I'll move this over here, that is not the asset that he's supposed to be working on. This is what that's going to look like. So here, we're going to scan the asset to ensure it is indeed the asset we're supposed to be working on. In the case there's an asset mismatch, Maximo is not going to let Tom continue to work on this, and it's going to prompt him to find the correct asset. Now, in the case it is the correct asset, let's go ahead and scan the QR code once again. And there we go. Tom is now working on the correct asset. What may help Tom as he's completing the work order, in the case that he needs to enter meter readings, he can do that here or review past meter history. Tom can also look at asset and location history. This provides him work orders that have been and service requests that have been completed in the past at the asset and location level. In the case that he needs to modify the asset status, he can do so here. Now that Tom has all the information he needs to do the work, he's going to go ahead and begin to complete his tasks. The first one is isolating the valve, doing an inspection. Let's go ahead and open up this inspection form and begin our inspection. Whoops. Let's go ahead and open that back up. And here you can see Tom is automatically prompted with a list of questions he needs to complete to either pass or fail this inspection. Here we can say it passed the visibility and accessibility. There was no signs of wear. We inspect the valve. We find that the issue was with misalignment. There is no signs of leaking. There was a stem misalignment, so there will be an adjustment. And then to enter additional meter readings and taking an image of an asset. Once that's completed, we can say, yes, we have completed our inspection. Let's go ahead and complete the rest of our task list here. Oh, there we go. Once those tasks are completed, we can go ahead and click the done. Maximo will prompt Tom to fill out his report. So here is where Tom, the technician, would include failure information, such as what the problem was, what the cause was, and the remedy. He could include information detailing the failure that was tracked, such as misalignment, installation. Once that's done, he's going to go ahead and include the actual labor time it took him. So this is the actual work time. We can say that he started this a couple hours ago. He completed the work today, and he just finished. It looks like Tom shaved off an hour and a half by completing the work. Once that's completed, he's going to go ahead and approve the labor. We didn't use any materials, but if we did, we would track it here, and we'd complete the work order. So with that, that wraps up the demo today. As you've seen, there's significant productivity benefits that we've seen overall in this process. We had Tom, the technician, who was able to quickly identify a valve operating issue. And using Maximo, he was able to automate a lot of the information that he was generating for Sam, the supervisor, by leveraging our mobile capabilities, including all asset information, where it's located, and because he was able to use a barcode scanner to identify the asset, a lot of that information was readily available as part of the service request for Sam, the supervisor, to then address, look at, and create a work package based off of. We saw Sam, the supervisor, who now has all of the key information she needs to assess, okay, what could be the potential problem, cause, remedy for this service request based off of past work history. What can I learn from past work history that might have caused this equipment to have challenges? And then on top of that, I was able to quickly assign Tom, the technician, to go out and complete the work. And then lastly, we saw how Tom, the technician, where typically in the past he would do this manually, now has all of the information he needs in a single pane of glass to get his work done in a quick and efficient way. So with that, that was just a simple use case around a gasgate valve on how Maximo can be used in oil and gas to help improve productivity and reduce downtime. Any questions you might have, feel free to contact me at my contact information listed underneath the video, and have a great day.